Hello everybody, welcome back to another tarot reading. So today we are going to be taking sort of a bird's eye view on a situation that you may have been dealing with lately. That is what this spread is designed for, is to look at a situation. Maybe it's a difficult one, maybe it's a fun one, maybe it's just something that you want more information on. We're gonna be looking at a situation in your life and really getting a very large overview on what's happening and kind of some advice on where to go from here. So we are actually going to be busting out the Celtic Cross today. So the Celtic Cross is a really powerful tarot spread that's designed to give you just a very thorough look at a situation or something going on, and really kind of examine it from all angles and aspects. And we also have a bunch more oracle cards and tarot cards pulled to help give you some advice on the situation and just more thorough understanding of what's happening. So if you've got something that you've got questions about, this would be a really good pull to do that with. So I have got 3 piles here today. We have got our gorgeous blue sandstone. He is absolutely majestic and sparkly here. We have got our lovely malachite. This one actually is from Russia. My roommate brought it back from Russia, so it's a powerful one. And then we have got our lovely rose quartz here. So take a moment, take a look at the piles and see which one you want to do. Either pick one and pick whichever one your instinct goes for, or since this is a pull for about multiple situations, whichever stone speaks to a different situation or whichever number of situations you have that you want to look into, just go with what you think is best. So just take a moment to take a deep breath and figure out which pile that you'd like to pick, and let's get started. All right, hello pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Before we get started, I am just going to ring my little Tibetan singing bowl over here. This particular bowl is for the heart chakra, if you couldn't tell by all the green. I am not great at playing them yet, but I can at least make some noise with it. And since we're probably going to be dealing with situations that might be a little complicated or a little difficult to deal with, we're going to do a little bit of a ring to kind of open up that heart chakra a little bit. So let's just take a moment and maybe close your eyes if you feel like it. There we go. Okay, so the crystal that you guys picked is this lovely blue sandstone. So I don't know, again, how much the camera's picking up on it, since I know my camera's not the best, but this boy is gorgeous. He's actually one of the first crystals I ever purchased. I got him from Earthbound, and he's a worry stone, which is nice because you can sit there and do a little rub if you're feeling frantic. I definitely recommend getting a worry stone if you're someone who likes to fidget a lot. But he just, I mean, he's got the galaxy inside of him. He is absolutely beautiful. And he has a very chill personality to me, so I love him a lot. So blue sandstone, the traditional meaning for blue sandstones relate to a lot of business and career. So if you're really looking to build and expand a business, or if you're dealing with work or career related things, this would be a good stone to have. They help open up your throat chakra and work with expressing yourself and having confidence and building assets and power in career and sort of being a boss, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the crystal energy that we've got going into this reading. So we're gonna put him up here. So we're gonna start with the big boy, which is our Celtic Cross. So let's get that started here. I've got a new setup. So we have got all of our tarot cards. So the very first card we're going to pull, if you've never seen the Celtic Cross before, the first card we're going to do, I'm going to lay these out first, and then I'm going to flip them in order. So we've got card number 1, card number 2. Getting all these to fit is going to get exciting, I think. Card number 3, card number 4, and card number 5, card number 6, card number 7, 8, 9, 10. I know these are probably not all in the space. Don't worry, I will move them to where you guys can see them. So Celtic crosses have a particular spread for a reason. So we're going to start with the first card, which is going to be our situation. So the situation you're dealing with is the World in reverse. So, oof, maybe you've been having a little bit of a rough time lately. Maybe you were expecting some positive things to happen and they just haven't come through yet. As I'm filming this, the solar eclipse happened a few days ago. So maybe you were expecting something really positive to come in with the solar eclipse and maybe it hasn't yet. Or maybe you feel like you've been working really hard and you're just not seeing the fruits of your labor. So that's kind of rough. I'm sorry about that. We've got the crossing. We're sorry. I'm used to doing these for myself alone and not for other people. So that's the situation. The next card we're going to do is the crossing, which is sort of the conflict. So whatever conflict is going on that's kind of causing this situation to come to be. So the crossing we've got here is the Lovers. So maybe you are having difficulty with a relationship. Maybe the relationship is part of the reason why you are not experiencing that world energy like you wish you were. Maybe there's a person that's blocking that kind of path. Maybe there's a situation that you're in. I know this is all about situations, but maybe there's a situation that you're in, maybe a job, a workplace, maybe a mental health space, that's something that's at odds with where you want to go and who you want to be. And maybe you've been trying to make some tough decisions, but you just really have not been able to like clear some space from your life, but maybe you really have not just been able to pull that off for whatever reason. Maybe something's blocking you or you're not able to. I did swap those, but you know what? That's okay. Don't worry about it. Maybe you're trying to work on figuring out what you should do in this situation, what decisions you should make. I really see that something is fundamentally like, there's some sort of conflict between what you desired, where you desire to be and where you are, or your personal values and goals. There's really a large conflict going on between your sense of values. So where you should be versus where you are, or where you want to be versus where you are, or the things that you value versus the way that other people value things in your life. There's just some kind of sense of conflict of interests and conflict of values going on. So this card is going to be the past of the situation. So what's happened in the past? We've got the Five of Wands in reverse. So the Five of Wands, this particular Five of Wands in general, it's someone pushing against the flow, going uphill, sort of chasing against the flow. I get a lot of anxiety energy with this card. But with it in reverse, I do really see that maybe you have been working on your anxiety. Maybe you're a person who suffers and deals with anxiety, and maybe you've been trying to work through that and you've been trying to conquer that. And so it does look like you really have been putting in the work to receive this world energy. You have been putting in the work and you have been putting in the time, and that's definitely what I see in the past of the situation. This card's going to be the foundation of the situation, so kind of a lot of what's created the situation in the first place. You got Three of Pentacles, so I see a lot of support here. Maybe someone has been supporting you in your work on your mental health. Maybe you've been working with spirit a lot. Maybe there's been a person in your life that's been supporting you, that you overall have received a lot of support, and you've had a pretty positive experience so far. So it is kind of interesting that you're getting your world energy blocked, because according to all this, you really should kind of be receiving it, because it does seem like you've been doing everything right, but there's still some kind of conflict of interest here going on, whether or not it's like your fault or if it's your situation that's preventing you from overcoming that conflict of interest. So this card is going to be the most immediate outcome if nothing changes. So the most immediate outcome, Eight of Swords. Yeah, you feel kind of trapped. The Eight of Swords in reverse. You feel kind of trapped. You're not really sure where to go from here, or what to do. Kind of the light at the end of the tunnel's gone out a little bit. Your road on the way out the door is kind of been blocked a little bit. So that's kind of interesting. So this card's the Crown, which is your most ideal outcome out of this situation. Your most ideal outcome is the Ace of Cups in reverse. That's really interesting. maybe you're dealing with a lot of really negative emotions right now because of all of this blockage, and you kind of wish that maybe some of those negative emotions would go away. Maybe you're struggling to deal with them. Maybe you've been pushing for a really long time and you've been trying to work on yourself and work on the situation, but you're really not seeing a lot of rewards, and maybe that's got you feeling a little bit depressed, which kind of sucks. So maybe that's kind of what you're feeling as far as that goes. So we've got these cards. I'm sorry, this one was the immediate future. That's what's going to happen in the immediate future. This one is the one of the outcome if nothing changes. This is your immediate future. So this is probably what's going to happen in the next couple days, couple weeks, that kind of thing. That this trapped energy is still going to linger a little bit. So we're going to look at this over here to kind of see a little bit more about it. So this card is going to be how you see yourself in the situation. So how you see yourself in the situation is the reverse of the Seven of Wands. So Seven of Wands is someone who is defending themselves and defending the things that they love and care about. And the kind of energy I get from here just a little bit is maybe you're just a little tired of fighting. Maybe you feel like you fought really hard for this situation and you're not seeing it come to fruition, and that's being kind of frustrating to you. And so maybe you're kind of struggling a little bit with not really maybe you feel like you should be fighting harder to make sure that your situation comes true, and maybe you just don't want to fight anymore. That might be kind of some of the feelings you might be having. And so this is the environment around you. The Emperor is the environment around you. Okay, so it's interesting that this card's coming up because back in my June 2021 predictions video, this card came up and it was talking about karma. Right now, Saturn is in retrograde, and so a lot of the karma that has been coming based off of how you've been behaving for the past year, you are getting to reap the karmic rewards of that. So if you've been doing really well and you've been working on yourself, then you're going to be getting really positive rewards. And if you have not been doing well and you've been sort of avoiding working through your problems, then you might be getting some negative karma coming your way. And so the Emperor here, it's interesting because there seems to be this lack of world energy and this blockage, but the Emperor is suggesting that if you've been doing all this really good work, the environment is favorable to give whatever it is that you're seeking to you and whatever it is that you deserve to you. And so maybe the blockage is a little bit going on inside yourself, but I'm not totally sure. I hesitate to say that right off the bat because I don't want to be negative, and that might not be the truth. So this card is your greatest hopes or your greatest fears for the situation. Yeah, your greatest hopes is that you get that Holy Grail. You've been searching for it for a while and you've really earned it based off of everything that I can see, all that success that you've dreamed of and all of that hard work. Maybe you've been trying to get another job, or maybe you've been working on expanding your finances, and maybe you've really been hoping that all that hard work that you put in is really going to come back. And so your greatest hopes and dreams in this situation is that you do get that Holy Grail that you've been seeking this whole time, and you've been working really hard to make sure that you're worthy of, and that you deserve it. So this very last card is going to be the outcome if nothing changes. So the outcome that nothing changes is the Four of Swords. That's rest. That's really interesting. And that could mean a couple different things. It could mean that you're going to go into a big hermit mode where you spend a lot of time, you're going to go to a big hermit mode where you spend a lot of time resting and recovering because you really don't feel like fighting anymore. It could also mean that whatever rewards were supposed to come to you are going to come slowly. I'm not totally sure with that Four of Swords, actually. But that's part of the reason why I got these oracle cards, so that we can kind of talk about the situation a little more, just because, sometimes you need some clarification. So yeah, the Four of Swords indicates rest and meditation and sort of being in hermit mode and thinking and feeling and recovering, and maybe being close to awakening, but definitely some rest energy going on here. So the first cards we're going to pull here are going to be some of my Elemental Power tarot cards. And these are just going to give a little bit more specification about the situation and kind of help, because we've got some unanswered questions here for sure. So I think they're going to help with that a little bit. So we've got the Six of Pentacles, or Six of Coins. So the Six of Coins is like achievement. So I feel like definitely what this card is saying is that no, you have achieved that world energy. You've achieved it. You've worked hard. You've put your backbone into it. You've really done what you were supposed to do and what you needed to do. And you have achieved what you've looked to achieve, and those rewards are coming to you, even if it hasn't necessarily doesn't necessarily feel like it at the moment. And I definitely feel like they're saying that you really need to sit down and review your achievements and look at how far you've come and look at what amazing strides you've made. Because you might be feeling a little depressed over all of this right now, because I really do feel like there's some kind of irritant in this situation, whether it's a person or whether it's like a job or just a situation that's irritating you and kind of making you feel like your rewards aren't coming. But that cannot take away from the achievements that you've accomplished. And you really should sit back and be proud of how far you've come and how hard you've worked, and know that you've definitely earned everything that is coming to you, and you've earned that reward. We've got the Five of Swords, or the Five of Swords, which is an air card in this deck. And so the Five of Swords and the Five of Air, that definitely speaks to a lot of chaos and a lot of anxiety. I will mention right now, as I'm filming this, Mercury is in retrograde, and maybe you are having a little bit of difficulty communicating with people and communicating with yourself. I know, especially with this whole solar eclipse, I just felt some of the most intense anxiety. It was pretty terrible, and I'm kind of recovering from it now. But if you deal with a lot of anxiety, maybe you are afraid that your rewards are not going to come to you. And maybe you're anxious that all that hard work is for nothing. And I'm definitely getting the vibe that, you know, this anxiety, it's a little bit of a smokescreen. It's not exactly true. It's not exactly real. You're valid for feeling it, but the anxiety is not reflecting on the situation. I think it's more reflecting on your headspace. And I think that those fears are not necessarily accurate to what's going on around you. And then we've got the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups talks about collaboration. So I definitely feel like this is giving you the advice to talk to your spirit guides. I know it might be hard right now. If you were watching this during a retrograde, it might be a little bit difficult to communicate with your guides at this time. But I definitely feel like this is telling you to talk to spirit, talk to your guides, talk to the people around you who love and care about you. Because I think that they're going to help ease some of your fears and some of your struggles and some of those like tumultuous emotions that are going on, and kind of giving you a little bit of a struggle with all that. Because I feel like they may hold the answers, but you just might be having a hard time hearing them as to what's going on in the situation. And I'm going to give you a couple more. So these are it's the Illustrated Herbiary. This is a brand new deck for me, and they are going to give you a little bit more advice. And I specifically am kind of getting the vibe that they want to give you advice about this situation. So whatever it is that's like harassing you and making you feel like that those rewards can't come in for whatever reason. We've got Crack Open the Rose. Actually, I'm going to get the guidebook out for this, because the guidebook is actually really good, and I'm also new with it. So when we're looking at the Rose, Rose adores poetry, but despite popular belief, she simply can't countenance mushy love. Rose knows that to experience love in full, you need to be a strong vessel while at the same time cracking open. A contradiction? No more than a contradiction than flowers and thorns, murmurs Rose. Rose reminds you to embrace dualities and say both and instead of either or. So essentially, I think kind of what that is saying is maybe you are struggling to deal with this situation that's kind of that irritant that's bothering you and making you feel like all of those wonderful rewards can't come in. But I think that the Rose is advising you that you need to try to look for ways that you can live with a foot in both worlds. I'm gonna be honest, this is like my personal situation, but I know for me, I am trying to leave one job and move towards another. But that older job is a very toxic work environment. And so I'm really struggling, frankly, I'm really struggling to move towards the new job while still being caught up in the old job, especially when it keeps irritating me and driving me crazy. And so I think the rose is encouraging me and all of us to try to figure out a way to live in that abundant world energy and that pride in our achievements while still also embracing the irritation, not trying to fight against it and not trying to resist it, but more trying to go with the flow, and letting myself be very vulnerable and open and feel the feelings that I'm experiencing, not avoiding some of those intense feelings that we might be experiencing, but feeling them instead, because in feeling them, we will find our strength. So we've got that, and then we've got You Are Sacred, the Tulsi. Tulsi, also called holy basil, is traditionally planted in a special pot by the front door of homes in South Asia. This holiest of plants, thought of alternately as a household deity and a manifestation of the goddess, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Lakshmi, brings heaven to earth. Her spicy scent reminds you to be aware of the unseen, of spirit flowing in and out. Tulsi says, "You're strongest when you let spirit help you adapt to the up and downs of daily life." If you befriend Tulsi, she might give you a further message. Your spirit flows through your physical form, and so your soul is fed through your body's senses. You might wear Tulsi beads around your neck to remind you that you are your home for your spirit, and you are sacred. So what I'm really getting with that is I'm definitely getting the idea that spirit is wanting to help you through this situation. And it's interesting that the Tulsi card is right above that Three of Cups. Spirit wants to help you. I think that spirit knows you're struggling, and spirit is really trying to help you through the situation. And I think that spirit wants to guide you through what you're feeling, because I don't think that any of the good rewards coming to you are blocked per se. I just think that maybe your energy is kind of frantic and kind of struggling, and you're having a hard time believing that it's going to come in. And I think through following spirit's guidance, I think that that will really help. I'm also getting the message to treat yourself more sacredly. Maybe engage in a little more self-care, whether that's, putting your moisturizer on and showering when you need to, or doing yoga or dancing and like getting some exercise in. Just treat your body as a little more sacred and start taking care of yourself a little more, get a little more sleep. You seem like you may be a little worn out with everything. And so I get that that can be hard sometimes when you're kind of in depressive energy. But I'm getting to treat yourself a little more sacredly and take care of yourself a little more, because you are, your body is a temple, which I get can be kind of a trite phrase, but your body is a temple and you are holy, and maybe taking care of yourself a little bit more and living in that holy space, because whenever you open that holy space inside of yourself, you welcome holy things to come in, and opening that holiness inside of yourself may help those things coming to you move past that blockage a little bit. So the next cards that we've got here are going to be some of my Enchanted Map Oracle cards. They are going to tell you a little bit about kind of your journey from this place, kind of moving forward from this place and moving out of this place, and also like kind of how this journey fits into your overall situation with 2021 as well. So we've got movement. So this stuff is coming in. You may be afraid that it's not going to, but it is. Your stuff is coming. Your reward is coming. You are currently in the process of movement, which is good to hear, because I've been a little worried, I'm not going to lie. Moving from one job to another, moving from one situation to another. You are on the way of moving out of this situation and into a better one. So it's coming. I know you've been afraid that it isn't, but it is coming. Got the Magical Map Shifter. So a large message that we were getting during that eclipse that just happened is unexpected communication. The Magical Map Shifter is a card that shows up when something unexpected is going to be coming into your life. People, places, things all getting moved around and rearranged into something new. And so that unexpected positive reward is coming. It may not feel like it, but you got to let that magical map shifter move. And the thing that's kind of interesting about the magical map shifter is he can't move the things on your map if you're gripping too tightly to them. You have to let go in order for him to move things around. And maybe that's where a little bit of that resting energy is coming in, is you more letting go and taking care of yourself and trusting spirit. Because you got to let go, and you got to, it's the whole a watch pot never boils kind of concept of, if you're gripping too tightly to the fate in your life or wondering what's coming in, it's not going to come, because it can't, because you're literally blocking it because you're holding on too tight. You have to let the man do his work and move things around. But something major is coming. And we've got cleaning house. Yeah, maybe there's some stuff that you've, in reverse, cleaning house in reverse. Maybe there's something you've been holding on to that you're having a little bit of difficulty letting go of. And maybe that's something that you need to work on when you're talking about that you are sacred and taking care of yourself. Maybe they're negative thoughts and feelings. Maybe they're negative beliefs. Maybe you just need to let go of some things, and that can be really hard, especially whenever you're dealing with that kind of depressive energy. But I'm really seeing that you need to let go of some stuff in order for the magical map shifter to move and to bring you the best outcome. And so maybe working through some of your negative beliefs and your negative feelings actually can be a really good thing, because it might clear up some space for all of this to take place. And the last few cards we've got here is some advice cards to kind of, these are my astrological cards, and they are going to be giving some recommendations of some energy to embody over the next few days, weeks, as the situation works on and plays out. We've got the Sun, self-express and embody truth. Embrace yourself. You've done a lot of hard work, and I'm kind of getting the message that you've done a lot of self-work. And you should be proud of that. And you should, be proud of who you are and proud of how far you've come. And so definitely expressing yourself, embodying some truth, embodying who you are without holding back. That might get some negative responses from others. Who cares? It's more important for you to be yourself and to embody who you really are. And then we've got North Node, destined to have whatever is coming in for you is really good. It is what you are destined to have. It is who you are destined to be. Welcoming that in. And the more you are yourself, the more you will welcome in what is meant for you. And the more you choose yourself, the more you will welcome in what is meant for you. We've got Scorpio. Intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. Definitely working on some of those old negative beliefs, because, I'm really getting the message, because we've got that resting card here. Don't push yourself. Work on those negative beliefs and working on releasing what feels natural to release, but don't roast yourself. I am a Scorpio, my whole front end of my chart is Scorpio. And so I have a tendency to really push too hard and push to work on my traumas and my issues way too hard and take it all way too fast. And this is definitely telling me, I'm definitely getting the message, take your time, work on what's being released naturally instead of forcing yourself to release things that you're maybe not ready to release yet. But let go of a lot of things. Eclipse season is about letting go and purging a lot of things. And I'm definitely getting that of just letting go and releasing and letting go of the things that it's time for you to let go of and it's time for you to move on, but let it happen naturally. Don't push yourself too hard. And then we've got Sagittarius, optimism, exploration, and freedom. That is definitely what is coming in to you. But I'm also getting the message too, to go ahead and embody that now, even though it's not here yet. Because the more that you can embody that free energy and that fun energy and that optimistic energy now, the easier it will be for those positive changes to come into you, because like does attract like. And just trust knowing that it is coming. You do deserve it. It's just it's not even taking its time. It's happening in divine timing, and it's happening on purpose. So just take a deep breath, let go of some things, take care of yourself. It is coming, I promise. And then the last card we've got here, the last piece of advice is just from my Sacred Creators deck. Cut the cords of doubt. Let your heart soar. It is coming. I know. I'm literally, I'm repeating this over and over again so many times because I'm literally telling myself, because I've been struggling with this so much lately, but it is coming. I promise it is coming. Let your heart be light, because it is coming, and take care of yourself. Work through those negative, dark feelings. Let go of the things you need to let go of, and treat yourself like you were important and you were sacred, because you have earned what is coming to you, and you have earned all the positive things that are about to be happening. So the more that you can let go of fears, and the more you can let go of doubts, the better, because the quicker that this will come in, the more you do that. So that is it, I think, for this reading. Here's your boy right here. Thank you, pile number one. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helped you guys a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in love with these new cards. They're beautiful. Someday I'm gonna get the full versions of them, but you know, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Hello, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. So before we get started, since this is these are situations that might be a little intense, I am actually going to give a little ring on my Tibetan singing bowl. So the particular singing bowl I have is for the heart chakra, in case you couldn't tell by the green. So we're just going to do a little bit of a heart chakra cleanse for a moment before we get into the situation at hand. So I can't play these very well yet, but I can at least make some noise. So there we go. Okay. So you guys chose the pile with the malachite. So malachite is kind of a unique stone. This one is actually from Russia. It belonged to my roommate, or it belongs to my roommate. I'm borrowing him. But you might have heard a little bit of buzz in the spiritual community about malachite. Malachite is kind of an unusual stone. Malachite promotes rapid change and transformation. Specifically when you were feeling stuck, and specifically when you were dealing with a lot of mental health problems. It's huge to work through depression. It helps purge and renew the mind. A lot of people say that don't own a malachite unless you want your whole life to be destroyed, to be rebuilt from the ground up. So malachites can kind of be a little bit of intense energy, but they are kind and they are caring, and they are known as a healing crystal. So that's a little bit of the vibe that we're getting here. So maybe this pile is about some life changes you are currently going through, or maybe it is about some life changes that you need to go through in order to move on in your life circumstance in particular. So, here we go. So we're gonna start with our Celtic Cross with Miss Shadowscapes, and I will sort of explain it as I go along. I'll lay it out and then I'll explain it as I flip the cards. Oh, goodness, we're having a little bit of issue handling things here today. A little bit of chaotic energy, but that's all right. Okay, so we've got card number 1, 2, and don't worry, I will move these to fit all when I get there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, don't worry, I'll migrate all these for you to see them as I flip them. So the very first card we're gonna start with is we're gonna start with the situation. So the situation you're currently experiencing. So we've got, right out the bat, we got the 10 of Wands. Ooh. Well, definitely feeling that depression energy and that heavy mental health energy. You are going through something. Your back is breaking under the weight of the responsibilities that you are experiencing. So that is definitely right out the bat. We have got some strong exhaustion energy. You are struggling under your responsibilities. Maybe you've got a job, maybe you are at a workplace, maybe you are in a situation or a relationship, or maybe it's just all of the above, and you are really flailing to try to recover. You are just weighed down. You really don't know what to do to get some of these heavy responsibilities to move, and you're just feeling exhausted. So the next card we've got is the crossing, or the conflict. So this is kind of what's exacerbating the situation or making it worse. Got the Tower. Oof. Ooh, you guys went through something. We just had that solar eclipse. We're in the middle of it, like we're in eclipse season right now. Maybe something major happened. Something just fell out in your life and it kind of wrecked your life, didn't it? So yeah, maybe you are going through some huge life changes right now, and maybe that's really what you're struggling to go through. And maybe that's what this Malachite's trying to help you with a little bit. So something hit you out of nowhere and you are overwhelmed and you do not know where to turn, and you are just weighed down by everything that is happening to you and everything you are feeling. And I'm so sorry. That is rough. That is some rough energy. So card number 3 is going to be about the past. So what was happening in the past of the situation. In the past, you had strength. So in the past, you were really doing good. You were really, working on yourself. You were taking care of yourself and others. You were being kind. You were strong. And maybe you feel like this tower moment took that away from you. And I am so sorry. Because now it just seems like you don't feel like you have the strength to handle what you're going through. So card number 4 is going to be the foundation of the situation, the moon. Yeah, we've got some bad mental health going on here. Something hit you and activated every fear that you've got going on inside of you. Everything that you maybe thought you knew, and everything that you hadn't been dealing with really just came to the surface all at once. So, okay, maybe the situation's a good thing. And I hate to be the person to say that, because I totally understand how that feels. But maybe the Malachite is all about purging change so that you can become who you're really supposed to be. And maybe you had it all figured out, and maybe you were strong, and maybe this tower moment revealed all of this stuff that you have not worked on yet. And all these fears and these traumas and these past situations that you have not coped with and you have not worked through yet, and you are just really struggling to metabolize all these negative beliefs, maybe past traumas. And so maybe that was the purpose of this tower moment, was to bring all that out of you so that you can heal. That you are definitely struggling under the weight of all of it. So it's affecting you pretty badly. So the next card we're going to pull is the card number 5 is what's most likely to happen in the immediate future. So the next couple weeks. Got Queen of Pentacles, you're in reverse, you're struggling. You are having a hard time nurturing yourself. You're having a hard time nurturing others. Maybe you're struggling financially. Maybe this was a financial related thing. You are just having a hard time. You're going to have a hard time dealing with all of this and coping with all this. We've got this card's the crown, or your ideal outcome of the situation. Yeah, you just want someone to rescue you. You want to be safe. This is way more than you can handle. You are flailing. You are drowning. You just want to be rescued. You want to be helped. You want someone to take care of you and to lift you out of the situation and to carry you over that battlefield in safety and in comfort. And maybe you don't feel like there's anyone in your life to do that right now. And maybe you're just completely overwhelmed by that. So we've got the card number 7 is going to be how you see yourself in this situation. So you see yourself as maybe you are kind of an artist, or maybe you are someone who thinks outside the box, or maybe you just feel like you've ignored all the advice that everyone's giving you. Maybe you feel like you knew what you were supposed to do in this situation and you didn't. Maybe you feel kind of guilty, and maybe you feel like this is your fault. But seriously, tower moments are hard, because in a lot of times in the moment you do really feel like it's your fault, but they are happening to you for a reason. So maybe your own behavior was what triggered the tower moment, but the tower moment was also meant to happen to you. So it's not your fault. It might be that your actions triggered the situation, but it isn't your fault. It isn't something that you did wrong. This is here to teach you something and to help alleviate you from something and create who you were supposed to be. And so maybe you feel like it was your fault. Maybe you also want to look outside of the normal understandings of this situation, and you want to sort of be revolutionary and break the mold. That's just kind of how you see yourself. So card number 8 is your environment. Oh man, honey. Lord, whatever you're going through, this is rough. 10 of Swords, you are just despair. is all around you. Everything is terrible. It can't get much worse from here. You are just plummeting down in despair, just spiraling out of control, and you really don't know where to go and what to do about this situation, and you just cannot wrap your head around it. So card number 9 is going to be your greatest fears or greatest hopes about the outcome of the situation. Yeah, you're dreaming. You are dreaming of being rescued. You are dreaming of someone coming and rescuing you, and you're being weighed down by the practicality of the reality of your situation. But you really are just hoping and praying someone will come and help you and someone will come and rescue you. Maybe it's financially, maybe it's a living situation. I don't know, but you are just in total shock. And you are really, really hoping and dreaming that someone will come and get you out of this situation. And the most likely, what's most likely to happen if nothing changes and no action's taken? Oh, the reverse of 6 of Cups, something you really just, you know, it can either, pardon me, it can either be a good thing or a bad thing. You could lose a lot of your childhood self. You could deal with a lot of damage to your inner child. So I really actually am getting the idea of 2 outcomes here. The 6 of Cups talks about childhood memories and like fond childhood memories and becoming more childlike and more hopeful. But in reverse, it seems to be indicating the concepts of growing up and moving on. And I really feel like out of this situation, there's kind of 2 ways to go. You can either grow up to be bitter about the world and the reality of the world and, you know, capitalism, am I right? Grow up to really embrace society's ideals. Grow up to really embrace society's ideals of what an adult should be. Or you can grow up and learn a lot of hard Saturn lessons and really grow into an adult and become who you are and maybe move away from some more childlike behaviors and childish behaviors that maybe you've been clinging on to for a long time. And maybe this hard dose of reality can actually help upgrade you into becoming a full adult and the full person who you were meant to be and the person that you were meant to become. So maybe this is a situation of like getting kicked out of a home or getting, you know, your parents removing their financial support from you. I've been in that situation myself before, and it is very awful. You know, maybe it's the loss of a job or the loss of something. Something is being lost here to force you to grow up. And I'm kind of getting the vibe of you get to choose. And I do not want this to be harsh. This is not meant to be harsh. The situation is harsh. It is not your fault. None of this is your fault. I am not getting the feelings that this is anything you should feel guilt or shame over. And this is not something that you should feel like someone's beating you in the face and being really cruel to you. That is not what is happening. And the idea of, you know, grow up and move on, like that's not meant to be harsh either. It's more, you are in a horrible situation and you are being faced with 2 choices. You either lose the light inside of you and lose who you really are and kind of conform to the world's ideals of what an adult is, or you choose to grow up and step into your full power as an adult and really own yourself and become confident and become who you are and brave and individualistic, and really pioneering your path from here. And that's kind of the the vibes that I'm getting. And so we're going to pull some more cards for some more clarification about the situation. These are my elemental power cards, elemental power tarot cards. And they're going to give you a little more insight as to what's going on here. The World. Yeah. So, hold on. Let me just pull all of them first. Give me 1 second. We're going to do that. So yes, with the World, a cycle is closing. The place that you were in, the person that you were, the life experiences that you've had up until now, that is closing. It is gone. You are entering into an entirely new world with an entirely new set of rules and an entirely new environment to be in and people to be around and a version of you. And that is terrifying. It is beyond terrifying. I completely understand. I am just getting huge kicked out of the nest vibes, whether that's, you know, literally kicked out of the nest, but that is just the vibes I'm getting here. Just huge kicked out of the nest vibes. a cycle is closing and a new one is beginning. But what's really important here is the Six of Wands. So this is telling you that you have got what it takes. This situation is terrifying. You don't know what to do about it. It's just this enormous struggle. But with those Six of Wands, it is definitely talking about following your intuition. And that can be really hard when you are in this much fear and you are in this much terror and is so difficult to deal with. It is so hard to hear your intuition, but your intuition, you have a powerful intuition and you've got powerful fire energy. And if you trust your gut and if you trust your instincts and you take that leap and you go for it and you follow what you feel like is right, not what you think is right, but what you feel like is right, it will lead you to where you need to go. Spirit wants to lead you. Follow that intuition, follow that gut instinct. Spirit is laying out the path in front of you. You just have to take it, and you cannot think twice. You just kind of have to go for it. The Five of Pentacles here, or the Five of Coins, is talking about terrifying fear of lack. So you've lost something, whether it's financial resources or a relationship or something, and you are spiraling and frantic and trying to figure out where to go from here and what to do with all of this. And that fear of lack, that sudden emptiness or lack of resources is terrifying you. And Spirit is really encouraging you here to just, yes, you have lost something. You are short on resources. That is very true. But you're not as short as you think you are. And in that moment of panic, you really can struggle to see the reality of the situation, and it might cloud your vision and make you think that the situation is worse than it actually is. And if you can do what you can to ground yourself, to breathe, to take realistic stock of what's going on around you, and then follow that gut instinct and follow where you need to go, you do have a way out of the situation. But you really have to get a grip is the wrong term, because I don't want to, again, this is not meant to be harsh, but this situation feels very shocking and very terrifying. And so taking a moment to breathe, calm the fear, work on the anxiety as much as you can, and then work through, following that gut instinct, following that intuition, riding that wave, you will know where to go from here, because there's a huge opportunity for you to transform into an incredible, powerful person through all of this. And I'm going to pull these cards from my Illustrated Herbiary deck. They're new and I love them. And they're going to give you a little bit more of advice on what to do here. So we've got Pocket of Protection, Yarrow. And then we've got Valerian, Release Rigidity. Okay, so let me get the guidebook real quick because they've got some specific messages about this. It's 108. Okay, so Yarrow. In older times, Yarrow traveled with warriors. While her official job was staunching wounds, keeping the insides in and the outsides out, her presence brought bravery to the soldiers she kissed. Today, she has much the same task. Yarrow assists you in keeping your boundaries, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. She creates personal pockets of protection so you can slow down, gather your strength, and find your courage. Yarrow reminds you that boundaries are not just for keeping the outside from coming in, but also for keeping yourself from leaking out, letting thought and emotions run rampant in the world. Yarrow will create a bubble of protection, a bit of sacred space, within which you can regroup, regenerate, and recreate yourself. So you are being protected here. Spirit is protecting you. It may not feel like it, but Spirit is protecting you. Spirit is taking care of you. You are being protected divinely while you are going through this. And I'm getting the huge message that you need to withdraw your energy and, like, I hate to be like, don't trust the people around you, but maybe don't trust the people around you. Maybe, withdraw to yourself, trust yourself, lean on your own self and not advice from other people. Really withdraw into yourself in this time while you are moving on and moving forward. Really strike out on your own here and take your own direction and don't listen to other people. Do what your gut instinct says is best, and Spirit is going to protect you through that movement. And then we've got Valerian, 72. So Valerian stands tall in the garden, her stem stiff to compensate for a hollow core. But don't let her upright stance fool you. Valerian dreams of being a cat. In her efforts to become more mammalian, she's evolved an animal-like oil that acts as perfume to those with feline proclivities. Why a cat, you ask? Valerian's been watching felines and has come to the gleeful conclusion that cats are rather shameless and more content because of it. She asks you to aspire to a life free of self-flagellation and daily self-hatred. Valerian begs you to relax your armored body, your stiff thoughts, your rigid emotions, and then join her for a shameless afternoon nap. So twofold here. First, believe in yourself. This is a huge shock to you, and this is a huge awakening to you, and this maybe is helping, you know, bring out some hidden traumas and childlike tendencies that you may have had in the past. But also, maybe the people in your life, maybe part of the reason this is going on is maybe the people in your life have put you down for who you really are. Maybe the people in your life, like, I'm just going to be honest, I'm going to step out on a limb here. I have been through this situation myself. I was in this place 3 years ago. It is terrifying and horrifying, and it hasn't exactly gotten easier for me yet, but I've had more lessons that I had to learn. But I frankly left an abusive household and ran from abusive parents and ran from abusive situations to end up where I am today. And that is terrifying and shocking and horrifying and can just be, you know, so difficult to deal with. But a lot of the reasons I left is because they would not love me for who I was. And they constantly tried to change me and to alter who I was and to change my belief systems and change every fundamental part of who I was. And so I think first off, Valerian is here to tell you that you should believe in who you are and embrace the parts of yourself that you love and that you know are to be true and to be good. It doesn't matter what the people in your life before believed. It matters what you believe. It doesn't matter what traits they thought were good in a person. It matters what traits you think are good in a person. And so number one, that's a big thing. Number two, and this might be stepping out on a limb here, but you need some anxiety help right now. I have been where you are. I understand where you are. There are things that you can do to help assist with your anxiety when you're dealing with this kind of extreme survival scenario that I actually have gone through myself. Valerian tea. If you go to like the grocery store, there is Sleepy Time has a like the Sleepy Time tea company has a Sleepy Time tea with valerian that will knock you out. CBD oils, that will knock you out. That will really knock you out. CBD products are more expensive, and if you're not necessarily in the place where you can afford that, take your time. You know, maybe go with something else different first. But CBD oils can help assist with anxiety. They did not help me personally. I was too sensitive to them, but they can help. I also use the Ollie brand of gummies. You can find them at Kroger. They have GABA infused anxiety gummies. That has really been one of my biggest assistances during all of this is using that sleep gummies. I use them, they're anti-anxiety gummies, and I use them at night to help me sleep. Don't use them all the time. Any of these anxiety aids, do not use them all the time. If you can help it, see if you can find a middle ground, because I know for me, they do block some of my emotions and some of my ability to be intuitive and to, you know, work with myself. But you need some assistance. And if you need some assistance from something like, I do not want to say chemical assistance, because that's not what I mean. Some natural assistance, if you can't afford, I mean, obviously if you can afford to see a therapist and get anxiety meds. I am not discounting that at all, but based off of the energy of this situation, you may not be in the place where you can afford to see a therapist. See what you can help yourself with, whether it's CBD or valerian tea or, you know, the GABA gummies. Just do your research before you take things and be very, very careful and watch for their, like, your body's reactions to them, because you don't want to hurt yourself and you want to make sure that you're gauging your own reactions. But if you need some assistance right now, take it, because I have been there myself. I still am not totally out of the woods yet myself either. So just go for it. I get that's a lot. That's a huge info dump, but I've been in this exact same situation, and that is what has helped me. So we're going to pull some of my Enchanted Map Oracle cards to talk to you a little bit about where you should go from here, and also how this situation is fitting into the rest of your life. We've got home in reverse. Yeah. You've left home, whether that's literally or emotionally. You have left what you felt like was your home. Either you got kicked out or you had to leave because of some extreme situation, but that is just what that Tower moment was. You've got Talisman, okay? Then you've got One Ring Circus in reverse, and then you've got Sad embrace in reverse. So with the talisman, that means that you do have the wisdom to handle this journey. You actually know in your heart and in your instincts exactly where to go from here and what to do. You have the wherewithal, you have all the knowledge you need to take on this journey, even if it doesn't feel like it. So definitely putting an emphasis on that intuition and paying attention to your intuition and following what your gut instinct says to do. You are being led down the right road, and just keep going. And One Ring Circus in reverse is definitely talking about making sure that, you know, you may feel like you have to do this all alone, that you are alone in this situation, that you are the only one handling this, but that is not true. Spirit and your guides are here to help you down this road. You are not alone. You have people looking out for you. This happened to you for a reason. And so you are not alone. You are not taking this road alone. You have got people to help, and you don't have to do it all yourself. As well, there may be someone trying to control you and control your actions. And again, break loose of that. Move on from that. Don't even bother with that. And sad embrace in reverse, you are having such a hard time working through this emotionally. You are just torn up over this inside. And sad embrace in reverse is definitely saying, feel your grief, but don't ruminate in it. Feel your shock, but don't get stuck there. You have to move on. You have to move ahead and move forward. And the more that you can shift your eyes to the road ahead and the person you're becoming and the opportunities that you have to take advantage of and who you're going to be, the better. Because the more that you stay stuck in the sad energy, the harder it is going to be for you to move on and for positive experiences and change to come to you. So we've got a couple astrological cards to tell you some of the, give you some advice on some of the energies you should take moving forward. We've got opposition, imbalance, a point of tension, and a power struggle. You are really opposing somebody or a situation or something. And I think that this is definitely encouraging you to embrace that opposition. Again, going out on a limb here, but if you are leaving behind a parent or an abusive relative to go out on your own, don't try to integrate back with them again. Don't try to maintain a good relationship with them. Maintain that opposition, because they are not good for you. And there's a reason that the situation's going down. If it's because of them, there's a reason. And maintain that opposition and maintain your stances on the situation, and your feelings on the situation are valid, and you are valid as a person. Mutable. Surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. There is so much change going on in your life right now, and the more that you embrace it and move forward with it, the better things are going to end up. So yeah, the more flexible and the more willing to go with the flow and embrace change you are, and the less stuck in your older ways or stuck in patterns of behavior or things that you've done in the past, the more willing you are to embrace new ideas and new behaviors and new ways of going about things, the better. And then the very last card we've got here is this House 7. Profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. So you've got huge relationship impact, and I'm getting the message here that if you work on moving on from all of this, and if you work on really tackling this change, tackling this being kicked out of the nest, really becoming your own adult and your own person, you do actually have a romantic relationship waiting for you on the other side of all of this. Maybe meeting somebody new, maybe you have never dated anyone before if you're a little bit younger, or maybe you just never dated anyone before. So maybe you're gonna get like that first time romantic experience, or maybe the person you kind of always dreamed of, but you've never really found yourself with, or maybe you were in a relationship and now you're not anymore, and you're gonna be looking for new love, a new partnership. You've got a reward coming your way throughout all of this, even if it's not a romantic relationship, even if it's a profound new friendship, or just finding your soul tribe, if that makes sense. You've got huge energy of a reward waiting for all of this. You're going through this for a reason. And if you make it through to the other side, you're going to have something amazing waiting for you. And then the very last piece of advice we've got from our Sacred Creators deck is Creator Air. So be free is really what I'm getting with this. Air is the element of freedom. logic, of intelligence and intuition. Use your brain, be clever, work on this situation, be free, and just let go of a lot of the old things restricting you and keeping you back. As someone who's been through this myself, it is unbelievably hard and it is unbelievably difficult, but at the end of the day, I look back and I would not be the person who I am today. I am going through so many lessons and changes, and just, I am really being shaped into an entirely new person. And it is, I hesitate to say worth it, but it is worth it because you do get to become who you're really meant to be through this process. So definitely embrace that freedom, embrace that change. And here's our Malachite boy here. So pile number 2, that was your reading. I hope it helped. You are going to make it through this. I already can feel that you're going to make it through this. You just got to keep moving, got to keep on rambling on. So thank you for watching this reading, and I will see you guys next time. All right, hello pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. Before we get started, I am actually going to do a little bit of a chakra cleanse here with my Tibetan bowl, my Tibetan singing bowl. So since this might be a little bit of an intense situation, or these readings might be a little bit intense because we're looking at situational energy, I thought it'd be nice for us to clear our heart chakras a little bit first, because this is a heart chakra related bowl. So we're just going to take a moment and do a little. The plane chimes in. There we go. And what a more appropriate pile to be doing a heart chakra cleanse on than this pile, because the crystal that you guys chose is a rose quartz. So rose quartz is commonly associated with love and with friendship, but most importantly, it is related to self-love. That's sort of its biggest message, is self-love. So really being kind to yourself and forgiving yourself and self-care and just really working with yourself and caring a lot about yourself. That is the crystal energy for this reading today. So that's very nice. So we're going to get into our Celtic Cross. So we are going to be using Miss Shadowscapes over here to be giving us a Celtic Cross reading on your situation. And I'll lay the cards out first and then I'll explain what they are as I flip them. And don't worry, I'll make sure that you can see everything once I'll migrate them together. So card number 1, card number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So card number 1 is going to be the general situation at large for you. So we've got the reverse of the Knight of Wands. Okay, so the Knight of Wands talks about being confident and charging forward and having a lot of forward momentum and forward energy and a lot of confidence. And maybe you are not feeling very confident right now. Maybe you're kind of at a little bit of a standstill. Maybe you were more confident and now you're kind of just slowed down a little bit. You're not really charging ahead. You're not really pursuing anything. You're kind of in this kind of slow, mediocre, lackluster energy. So that's kind of the situation in general. We've got our conflict or our crossing. So whatever's conflicting to cause this situation. Got the reverse of the Page of Pentacles. So there's not a lot of opportunities going on around you right now. Maybe you're doing something like looking for a new job and you're really not seeing a lot of good job postings for you to apply for. Or maybe you're trying to look outward on like creating new projects and maybe you're just really not having a lot of creativity happen. For whatever reason, there's just not a lot of very good opportunities going on right now. Maybe there's some financial limitations, some abundance limitations. You're kind of just feeling a little stuck. There doesn't really seem to be a lot of like open opportunities waiting for you. So with this card number 3 is going to be the past of the situation. So the past of the situation is the Star. So you had a lot of hope You've been having a lot of hope. Hope for change, hope for things to get better. 2021's definitely been a better year than 2020 was, and maybe you've been, you know, looking for more opportunities to bring yourself more joy and happiness and hope, and you've kind of had this like open heart. I mean, maybe it is a little bit disheartening that you haven't been seeing many opportunities, and maybe that's a little discouraging and kind of hard on you. Card number 4 is going to be the foundation of the situation. The foundation of the situation is Ace of Wands. Maybe you had a lot of hope, but you really don't seem to have a lot of fire going on. There's a distinct lack of fire going on here, and fire energy is passion and drive and confidence. And maybe you were hoping for things to change, but maybe you're having a little bit of a hard time gearing up that fiery energy for you to be able to really enact that change or do something about that change. So maybe that's a little bit difficult for you to you just really didn't find that spark of creativity or that confidence that you were looking for when you were out there looking for new opportunities. So card number 5 is going to be the most likely, the immediate future. So what's going to happen in the next few weeks or so. Reverse of Death. Yeah. Just a lot of stagnant energy, not much change, not much happening, just kind of the status quo, not really much moving around and not much really like gaining confidence or losing ground or anything, just kind of just being where you're at. This is the crown for the situation. So this is card number 6 is the what you hope will come out of the situation. The reverse Knight of Swords, that's kind of an interesting situation. I'm kind of getting either you hope that you won't have to work too hard for whatever it is you're going after, or maybe you hope that you get to be more emotional and less logical so you can follow your instincts more. So you're looking in this situation, maybe you're having a little bit of an issue with a lack of drive because you're kind of hoping that whatever opportunities are going to come to you. You would rather go with the flow. You would rather find something that's instinctual and that lines up with what you're looking for. And you're kind of looking for spirit to maybe give you the opportunity that you're looking for and give you a sign and let you know where you should go from here. And you don't really want to have to push or be super logical or super proactive. You want to sort of more go with the flow and go with what flows out versus really pushing ahead and digging for opportunities instead. So card number 7 over here is how you see yourself in this situation. So 2 of Wands, you've got waiting energy right now, which definitely lines up with that, you wanting to go with the flow. You're waiting. You're waiting for the opportunity to come to you. You're waiting for an opening and you really just don't see one. And so that's kind of rough because you're waiting. You're kind of waiting on spirit to tell you where to go. You're waiting for your instincts to kind of guide you, but you're really just not seeing much activity. So card number 8 is going to be sort of the environment around you right now. The sun. So there is a very positive environment around you right now. Things are going pretty well. And maybe that's part of the reason why you're not pushing as hard as you could is things are kind of going pretty well. They're not going bad. They're kind of just, there's a lot of like confidence and opportunity in the world around you and things are kind of progressing in a good way so you don't feel too hurried. So there is a positive environment going on around you and a very bright, happy environment going on. And so this is your ideal situation, your greatest hopes, your greatest fears. Yeah, you want something to fall in your lap and you want it to be the love of your life, so to speak. Whether you want a relationship, whether you're looking for a new job, looking for a new creative opportunity, you really want something that jazzes you and juices you, and you really kind of want to find your soulmate. Whether that's a person, whether that's the ideal job, you're really just kind of like looking for this to complete you and for you to really feel at home and like happy in whatever you're going for here. And then we've got, this is going to be the outcome if nothing changes. Justice. Okay. That's kind of an interesting card. So justice means that some stuff's going to shake out in your life. Some hard decisions are going to be made. Some tough decisions. Right now we are in Saturn retrograde, and that is a time where karma comes to get you, whether that's good karma or bad karma, whether you've been working hard for the past year or you've not really been attending to the things that you really need to be attending to. Justice weighs all in the end, and justice often talks about making legal decisions or legal matters or just basically weighing something on the scale and saying, is this really good for me or is it something that I really need to, deal with. So we're going to pull some of my elemental power cards, tarot cards here. This is going to give you a little bit more of insight and refinement onto the situation. So we've got the Six of Swords over here, and we've got the Nine of Swords, a lot of swords energy here. We've got the Sun. That is interesting. The Sun showing up twice here. A lot of air and the Sun, which is that's really interesting. So the Six of Swords talks about communication, and specifically how you use your words to communicate about yourself and communicate with other people, and just a lot about words and communication in general. And watching the way that you talk to people and watching the way that you talk about situations and things. And so I'm really seeing here that Spirit's kind of talking about how you use your words, but specifically the way that you talk about and you think about a situation. Because I feel like you feel like the situation's kind of dry, like there's not a lot of opportunities available to you, and you are saying that you're maybe saying that to others, you're saying that to yourself of, wow, there really doesn't seem to be a lot of opportunity here for me, and like there aren't a lot of chances. And I think that Spirit is really encouraging you to look at how you communicate about that stuff with both yourself and with other people. Because the Nine of Swords here, the Nine of Swords is interesting because the Nine of Swords talks about worldviews and specifically how you see the world around you, and that the way you interpret the world may not be what other people interpret the world as, and that's okay, and neither view of the world is different. And I think that Spirit's really encouraging you to look at your worldview here and maybe see if the way that you view the world and the way that the truths that you view the world through may not necessarily be the most up-to-date, or even, not that they are not legitimate, because that's not true. Your views are always legitimate, but more that maybe you need to take in other perspectives and other angles on the situation in order to be able to see more viewpoints on what's going on here, if I'm making any sense. I definitely think this is definitely a reading that's going to evolve as I keep going, because there's definitely a big point here. And then the Sun, again, so the Sun twice. So the Sun represents individuality and yourself and being confident. It represents favorable circumstances and like really positive circumstances, but also represents truth and clarity. And it's interesting how much this seems to be communicating that all the situations and like the environment is favorable for you to get what you're looking for. And the situation is favorable for you to get what you're looking for, and you have all the information you need in order to be able to make the right choice and the right decision. But maybe there's something you're having a hard time seeing or having a hard time looking at. And I think Spirit's encouraging you that you can see it, even if you don't feel like you can. I'm still not quite communicating this quite the way I want to, but I'll keep going because I think that some of these will help. So this is my new Illustrated Herbiary deck. I just got her, so she's fresh to the group. I look forward to getting the full oracle card someday. So this is going to tell you a little bit more, give you some more advice about what's going on here. So Clear the Sky, White Sage, and then We Are One, Quaking Aspen. And hold on, I'm actually going to get out the guidebook for these because the guidebook is very good on these. So the White Sage is 36. Life can be sticky. Members of the Sage clan have been used in a multitude of cultures for clearing the invisible wisps of energy that cling barnacle-like to people and places. Whether you think of those energies as your own spent emotions or the leftover emanations of someone else's, Sage can help you make your peace and move on. Sage is sacred because it clears the way, creating a blank canvas and an open path, allowing you the opportunity to reach your full potential. Sage appearance tells you that a block needs to be cleared, whether you can name it or not, so that you can move forward. So I think definitely with the Sage, I'm really getting the feeling here that maybe it's not so much that there are not opportunities available to you, but maybe the opportunities are having difficulty coming because maybe you're having a hard time seeing the opportunities because maybe you need to shed some light on some negative beliefs that you've had in the past and some worldviews that maybe were inherited from your parents or inherited from other people, or maybe traumatic experiences that you've been through that while those viewpoints were valid in the moment, they're no longer useful to you anymore. So I really am getting just this huge cleansing energy of going through, cleansing and cleansing, clearing the air of your own mental health, clearing the air of your own beliefs, really going through and taking inventory on what's serving you and what isn't anymore. And I would encourage you to do a sage cleanse. I would encourage you to get some sage from your local shop. I hate to be that person because I know that a lot of people don't like it, but they do have sage bundles at Walmart. They're not good, but they have them. Just get something and clear the air. Do a sage cleanse. Sit with a cracked window. Always open that window. Let the smoke roll over you. Let it cleanse your aura. Just do a sage cleanse the room. Just really like take a moment. Or if you don't like sage, Palo Santo. This is some Palo Santo. That's excellent as well. And juniper. There's a few different options and you can look into what's available to you and what you're comfortable using. But doing a sage cleanse would be a great idea. And just kind of removing that and thinking on and meditating maybe some beliefs or some thoughts about the situation that you might have that maybe you need to let go of and you need to cleanse and move on from. And then the We Are One, Quaking Aspen. That's 128. Okay, so despite the trembling of her leaves, Aspen isn't really scared. How do I know? Because deep underground, all the aspens hold hands. To our eyes, aspen trees are individuals, but in their roots and hearts, they're one. This is not mere metaphor. Aspens grow in what's called a clonal colony, sending out underground suckers to find a lovely spot to sprout a sister tree. Aspen groves are among the largest and oldest single organisms on the planet. When you see Aspen quivering, it's often with laughter. She giggles gently at the human race, who seem to have forgotten that deep in our roots, we too are one. Aspen asks us to root into this sense of connection so we can let go of our fears. So what's really interesting about that is I feel like Spirit is trying to tell you that Spirit's going to give you what you want. It's not like Spirit doesn't want to, but you have to work on your sense of connectedness first. You have to work on talking to your guides and tapping into their guidance and in Spirit's guidance for you, because I don't think this opportunity isn't here. I think you're looking for it, but I think it's not that it isn't here. I'm thinking that it's just you're not seeing it and you're looking with your eyes instead of your heart. And I feel like if you followed Spirit's guidance and sort of let them take you down that path, I think that that can really assist with your search, because I think that there's like more for you to learn here. And the whole point that you're searching in the first place is because there's more for you to learn here. And I think that really tapping into that sense of interconnectedness, looking at tarot readings on Instagram, watching tarot readings on YouTube, doing your own divination, really seeking answers through Spirit instead of through your own eyes or mind would be hugely helpful to you in this situation. Because your instincts, they're there and they're flowing. But you should let them, lead you where you need to go. And where you need to go may be to seek out more spirituality first versus, looking at what you feel like is a barren place, or letting yourself see through Spirit's eyes instead of your own, that kind of thing. So next we have got some of my Enchanted map oracle cards to kind of give you some guidance on where to go in this situation and also just how this is fitting into your overall 2021 in general. So we've got the Reverse of Strength. We've got Magic Stream in reverse. We've got Sacred Pool. And then we've got the Reverse of Moonlight. So the Strength card in reverse, this isn't exactly the same thing as, like a tarot card Strength, because this is an oracle card. So the Strength in reverse, that kind of speaks to you need to take care of yourself more. Pay attention to your physical health and your mental health. It's definitely letting you know that you should practice more self-care, maybe do some yoga, some stretching, some Tai Chi or Qigong, get some exercise, eat better, drink more water, just really focus on self-care and taking care of yourself because maybe your health is flagging a little. And with the Magic Stream in reverse, that one's definitely talking about, both the Magic Stream and the Sacred Pool in reverse are talking about self-esteem and self-love. The Magic Stream in reverse is saying you're right to try to be following your instincts right now. Don't swim upstream. Don't go against the current. Rather, go with the flow. go with what's where you're being led to go. And the sacred pool talks about self-love and giving yourself self-love and self-care and really growing in your own self-esteem. And so definitely a lot of that heavy rose quartz energy of just take care of yourself and practice more self-love. The Moonlight in Reverse card talks about your fears and your anxieties about the situation, and it encourages you to stop overthinking. Maybe part of the reason you're having difficulty, there's a lot of air sign energy going on right now, and maybe part of the reason that you're having difficulty finding the right road or the right path is that you're overthinking things. You're struggling with a lot of anxiety and cyclical thoughts and overthinking, and the Moonlight card in Reverse definitely recommends, relaxing and letting spirit take care of it, going with the flow more, following your instincts more, and, just kind of tumble on the road, man. The guidebook literally says, don't be mad at yourself for making mistakes. Like, tootle down that road. Like, don't trip over your own feet sometimes. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. You don't have to be afraid of making mistakes. It's better to be moving forward and making mistakes than it is to be sitting still and doing nothing. So definitely a lot of like self-forgiveness energy here and self-love. You clearly have a lot of fears going on about this situation. I think that's part of the reason why you're having issues following that passion and that dream and that chasing. And so definitely more self-care and self-love, and turning maybe some of that extra energy inward on yourself first to work with yourself before turning it back outward to look for those opportunities that are ahead of you. And so we're going to use my astrological oracle cards here to give you just a little bit more recommendation about what energy you should be taking as you're moving forward into moving on. We've got Gemini. Curiosity, intellect, and networking. Right now it is Gemini season, and we just had a solar eclipse in Gemini, so a lot of Gemini energy. Just talking to other people, talking to your guides, working, networking, communicating, searching for signs, searching for answers, that sort of thing. Really spending some time, get your head a little bit less out of the panicking, overthinking, and a little more into having fun and doing things that make you think in a fun way and think in an excited way. We've got Taurus, trust, patience, and sensuality. So definitely that self-care energy. Treat yourself, take a nice luxurious bath, do things that make you luxurious and feel good and feel happy. Definitely take care of your needs and meet your needs, eat good food, get plenty of sleep, that kind of thing. And then we've got Square, a challenging situation and a mountain to climb. So that's really interesting. It's interesting because right now there is a big, in 2021, there is a big square going on between Uranus and Saturn. So Uranus is the planet of immediate need for change, and like revolution and overthrowing. And then the Saturn is in Aquarius, and Saturn is the sign of hard lessons, and growing through hard lessons and learning to grow up. And so there's definitely a huge energy this year going on. And actually, funny enough, Uranus is in Taurus right now. So Uranus is in Taurus and demanding that our personal needs get met sooner and faster, whereas Saturn is in Aquarius, which is the sign of humanitarianism, and taking care of society as a whole and mental health and that kind of thing. So there's a big opposition going on between our immediate needs be met sooner rather than later, versus overall positive societal change taking its time and growing and shifting. And so that might be reflecting in your own life. I'd encourage you to look at your birth chart and see where your Taurus and your Aquarius is and what houses, and kind of see where that square is taking place for you. But definitely it looks like you need to feed some of that Taurus energy. You need to take care of some of your own Taurus needs, because that might actually help you move into focusing more on that Aquarius overall life positive change that needs to take place here. So definitely meeting some of your own needs and caring for yourself, while letting your eyes, sort of trusting spirit to start opening your eyes to new possibilities and new ways of thinking. Because trust me, when you change your mindset, your outside world changes, as above, so below, as within, so without. Of what's inside of you is going to be reflected by your life. So if you're stuck in this stuck energy where you're having problems going anywhere and you can't really seem to make things happen, it's better for you to work on you right now, because your outside will begin to reflect your inside once you do that self-work. And the last card I have here for you is just one from my Sacred Creators deck. Just one more piece of advice before we go. Overrate your intuition. So, yep, follow those intuitive, you know, thoughts, follow those feelings. Spirit's going to lead you to where you need to go, but I think you have a lot of cleansing and a lot of change to take place first, but let it grow and let it evolve and let your mindset change and evolve over time. And let them kind of show you those secrets that maybe you haven't been privy to yet. And just take care of yourself, because you do definitely need to get some more self-care going on up in here. So pile number 3, that was your reading. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.